Okay, so we're going to start. So hopefully you can see my screen. It says LSBU Business School, welcome. So I'm going to take you through some slides. Here we go. Hello, my name is Nadia. Can I know if this is only for undergraduate students? Yes, this is an undergraduate student course description and information. Yes, that's correct. It is undergraduate. So I'm just going to talk you through the undergraduate course. So bear with me whilst I screen share. Hopefully you can see it. And I'm just going to move on to the next slide. So this is for marketing, undergraduate marketing. I'm the course leader for the undergraduate marketing courses. To give you a bit of context about me as my background, because you have a brilliant mix of practitioners as well as researchers that are at the forefront of research and information. So I am a practitioner, which means that I've got experience in industry. So I've worked as a business development director and I've worked as a client partner at prestigious agencies such as Fitch, which has now been rebranded as Landor, owned by WPP. Hill & Knowlton, again, it's a WPP agency. Saatchi & Saatchi, who are part of Publicis, and Future Brand, who are part of IPG. So I have a multidisciplinary background, which means that I've worked with startups, I do branding, advertising, design, with a particular focus on digital communication from consumer to corporate clients. And I've worked on Adidas, Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Coca-Cola, Diageo, Fairmont, Duracell, Huawei, JSK, Spotify, Triumph, BBC, and even more than that, more than I care to list to everybody today. So I'm the marketing course leader, so do contact me if you're interested in any of the courses or you'd like to get in contact. Please email me at summera2@lsbu.ac.uk. So what is marketing? So marketing is the activity or business of promoting and selling products or services, including market research and advertising, which actually is a really broad spectrum of elements. So the kind of things you would learn are things about how to take the product to market, what branding is and how does branding work, how to promote. So branding is a beast all unto itself, as well as promotion, which is what we call communications. So promotion would go under communications with advertising and public relations, PR. And then you've got marketing research. So we'd understand data, we'd understand the consumer, where they are, and the consumer experience. So also about environments and the whole experience of either buying online or in person. And ethics within marketing. So we want to set you guys up for success of understanding what are the ethics of marketing and how does it all work. So for your ambitions, for when you're ready to go out and have your careers, there's something we call working in-house, which means working client side. So you could work in-house at sort of a consumer brand like Procter & Gamble or Unilever and be a marketeer within the client side. Or for an agency. So an agency would do all of the creative work and strategy. So Unilever might have a new product development and they had a brand manager who's in charge of that product. They would give it to an agency. So say, for example, Saatchi & Saatchi, and they would say, right, we need you to take this to market. So they would come up, the ad agency, Saatchi & Saatchi, would come up with the TV campaign, the print campaign, the digital campaign, and roll it out globally. Or you could actually work for yourself. So what that means is you could set up your own company, you could be your own freelancer, you can develop your own clientele, or you could cross collaborate with some of your peers and end up setting up businesses together. So our students can go on to become campaign managers, digital marketing strategists, account executives, marketing directors, and global webinar specialists, as well as lots and lots of other roles. As a really lovely story, I've now got a client who's going to come in and do a project with our students, who was previously a student at LSBU. She's now in charge of marketing at Pearl & Dean, which is a lovely cinema. And we've now got a live case that we're going to be working together with Pearl & Dean, which I'm excited because that's coming up in semester 2. So not only do we have students that thrive and succeed, they then come back and give us brilliant opportunities for the up and coming students and keep that cycle of alumni and our students and our projects in a really good place. So that's really exciting about coming to LSBU. So to give you a bit more information, branding is something that we cover. So branding helps us really quickly make a connection with a product or service. So there's lots of products, there's lots of services out there, but having really good branding makes you have a relationship and a preference sometimes. And it's a really, really important part of taking our product to market, because we need the branding in the first instance. So, for example, let me know in the chat box. Are you an iPhone user or are you an Android user? What do you have? Let me know in the chat box. iPhone. Cool. So it's really interesting, because often when somebody says something negative about iPhone, we feel quite offended. And when people say, oh, no, but Android's better, I'm like, no, my iPhone's much better than Android. Well, it's really good branding because it makes you feel connected to that product. People really become reliant where, for iPhone, you might need the Mac, you might need the headphones. There's a whole element of kit that comes with it, which is really clever branding because it makes you feel that that brand is the thing that you want, that might represent you as part of an identity of saying, I'm an iPhone user. So that's really good branding. So basically, branding creates a connection between the person and the product or service to make you feel something about it. So then we have to take it to market. So this is the communication bit. So now we've kind of got the branding, we've got the logo, we've got the look and feel. So taking it to market involves research. We've got to understand our audience. We've got to understand the media channels that we're going to use to communicate to our audience. And this is where we use data. So we have a lot of brilliant researchers who will support you in data analysis and how to create content that's actually going to connect to the buyer and spur the action that you want them to purchase or use the service. And then we want them to come back. So it's really important to have a good customer care. I'm sure some of you have had the experience of buying a product and something hasn't been looked after properly, or it hasn't been delivered on time, or there's been broken, and it kind of changes your relationship with that brand. You kind of think, well, I don't think I want to buy from them again. That happened a lot during COVID. Everything became digital for online retailing buying process. And some retailers that didn't have that process done very well, some of the relationships were damaged with their consumers because they didn't have that process done properly. So the way in which everything is delivered to the consumer is really important. And that's something that we go through. And then in our marketing courses themselves, so we've got a Bachelor of Science, because we do have data and it is a science to be able to communicate really well. So we have a Bachelor of Science Marketing with Digital. So that doesn't involve advertising, that's specifically focusing on digital communication. And then we've got a Bachelor of Science Marketing with Advertising and Digital Communications. I would say that to do the advertising as well is a bit more of a combination with the creative side, because advertising, you need strategy and you need creative ideas. So that's probably how I would pull them out. Data for marketing with digital, very data focused and very science specific. And then we've got marketing with advertising with digital communications. Again, digital involves data, but it's a little bit more creative because we've got the advertising element. And then we've got the BA marketing with a foundation. So that means when it comes to your qualifications, if you're not sure how your grades are going to go, and if you don't quite manage to get the grades that you hoped for to be able to get through to this course, we do offer the foundation, which just gives you that level of qualification to then be able to join the degree course. And then we also offer something called a placement year. If you haven't heard of a placement year before, it means that you can go and work in industry. We have a phenomenal team that have really great relationships with employers who can get you a job for that year. So it means that you graduate with a brilliant degree and having had work experience at the same time. So I highly recommend it, but it's not mandatory. If you want to do the 3 years and you're a really good student and you go out and you get internships in your own time and you're proactive, so that by the time you graduate, you're in a really good place to get the roles that you want to, then that's brilliant. If you're one of those people that is a go-getter and you can do it all within 3 years, then absolutely go for it. If you're somebody who would like a proper year under your belt of doing a work placement with an internship, then the university helps you do that. So it's completely up to you. I just do recommend the placement because it does mean that you get the extra sort of work experience before you finally finish. So get ready for a very different kind of learning experience. It's going to be different from what you've experienced before, either at college or school, and you're going to find out lots of things from your lecturers. So like I said, you're going to have researchers who are going to have a lot of understanding and a lot of knowledge. So anybody who's interested in the research area of marketing, you'll have a lot of support with some brilliant staff members on that, as well as practitioners. And one of our main things is to give you real life case studies. So when we have the students working on projects, we bring in live briefs. And what live briefs mean is that we have genuine projects that are real. So it's not just doing academic sort of ideas just in case it might be useful. You've got direct time with companies, with clients, you pitch, you present your work, you've got really useful, tangible projects, which then I teach you how to put them on portfolios. So then you can promote yourself saying you've done these projects that are completely industry relevant. And then on top of that, you also develop a relationship with all the other students. So we do a lot of cross-course collaboration, so you can meet different students across other courses, which is really useful, especially if you want to set up your own business, because you might need other skills across different courses, which you might want to tap into. So there's lots of independent study. So that means that we encourage you to go out and do your research, go and check out, what's happening in London, find out. We've got brilliant platforms called Mintel, which is really useful. Lots of companies pay for Mintel and it's very expensive, but it's basically a really sophisticated reporting system that gives you analysis on the latest product development, what's happening in the market, global and economical factors. So it's a brilliant research tool and it's very expensive. So it's great that you've got it here at the university. So we do expect you to do your own independent study using these brilliant resources that we've got for you, as well as your social life. So there's great things to do at LSVU. We've got a really good student union. You've got a great life that you can have. And you're going to be in the hub and the heart of London, because Elephant and Castle for South Bank University is in Zone 1, which is excellent. So it's cheaper for your train fare if you want to get around London. You're just by the waterfront. You're a stone's throw from Shoreditch. You can easily get into central London on the Northern Line. And it's a brilliant place to be. And there's lots of stuff to do. There's a great nightlife. There's loads of things. So you get the full holistic experience of working hard, but also lots of fun things to do whilst you're in London. So you get the full experience. Having taught at lots of other universities over the years, I've also found that they have never been in such a good location. It really does make a difference having such a central location rather than having to travel very far. So it's really great. If you're going to come and study in a London university, then come to Elephant and Castle for London South Bank, because it's a really great location to be. You've got great staff and you've got really good courses. So to kind of give you a bit more information about the courses, you've got year 1, which is Principles of Marketing. That's going to give you a really good grounding of what is marketing, how does it work, and what are the rules that we need to play by as marketeers. Then we go into marketing in a digital world. Quite often we do a live brief for this project, and it's a really good tool of understanding how do we interact in the digital world, what are the projects that we can do. We work with social media tools, and you really get a great grounding of the digital world. So then you've got finance and economy. So any of you that are not too confident on the side of finance and economy type subjects, this is a really useful course, because it's just, or module rather, it's a really useful element for you to be able to get some grounding to then be able to feed into other projects. You've got the Discovery Project, which is all about business management, which is really useful. That one's a favourite of mine because you've got a cross-course collaboration and you're going to meet other students in that project, on that module. And then you've got management and organizations. So I think that one's quite self-explanatory. It's all about management and how they fit into organizations. And then this one, again, a favorite of mine, data for decision making. How do we decode data? How do we read data? What do the patterns mean? And how can we distill them into useful bits of information? So you've got in your first year a brilliant building block to then be able to progress onto the next year. So this is what you'll be studying if you're in advertising with digital and communications. Year 2, you've got understanding the consumer, which is obviously having insight, understanding people, understanding how you can do research. With the more information you understand about the person that you're trying to communicate to, the better your communication will be. Your marketing career, so that unit is working with our employability team, who also are the ones that will work with you on your placement. So they really train you to understand what do you want to get out of your marketing career and how to put your best foot forward. So that you'll have interview processes, you'll have lots of practice, and so that's a brilliant, well-rounded second year course ready to give you sort of a good background before you go into your last year, your third year. Then you've got integrated contemporary communications, which obviously is all about the latest communications, the latest information, and how they are all integrated, how they all sit together. You've got media relations. So media relations obviously goes into different media channels. So that could be whether or not you use Twitter, Instagram, all the different types of area that you would use them, and specifically how you would work with that from a relations standpoint. And then you've got the creative advertising and media planning. So this is where you come up with creative ideas. This is where you have creative strategy. This is where you start to do mock-ups and you come up with a creative advertising idea and you roll them out across different media channels. And we look at what those different media channels are and what's going to be best for your consumer. Year 3, so this is where either your year 3 could go off into a placement, so that you work with our employability team who you'll meet in your marketing career section of your module, and you can actually go get a placement and get that work experience under your belt. Or you can go into the next year and carry on with your units, and then you finish after the end of that. So if you want to carry on, then we've got managing products and brands. So this gives you an excellent background about branding, about product developing, and has a really interesting point of debate and gives you excellent grounding. I've just recently given a lecture on that, understanding about augmented reality, virtual reality, really understanding brand experience, and understanding how technology fits in and online learning, and digital aspects of brands and digital aspects of brand experience. So that's obviously one that I've enjoyed teaching. And then we've got promotional media campaign and campaign strategies. This is where you develop your own online portfolio. So this is where you would have had live briefs, live case studies working with direct to client, and then we add them into an online portfolio that you can then develop your own promotional plan. So currently I've got students coming up with brilliant campaign ideas that they're putting across LinkedIn, they're putting them across Instagram, and some of them have already managed to get jobs with the online portfolios that they've already created. So it's a really useful tool and completely industry relevant. So having my background being a practitioner means that whenever I've had somebody looking to hire a student or a graduate, they say, right, send me their portfolio link. So we want you guys to have the best portfolio link so that it's not just a CV and you can really sort of shine to get those jobs above everybody else. And then you've got the applied project, which is going to be part of your dissertation. So you choose your research area that you're interested in, and that can be linked to what you would like for your career. So it's really useful, if you're interested in social media, if you're interested in international marketing, whatever it is, at the end of these 3 or 4 years, that's really something that you've enjoyed studying across the really broad spectrum of modules that we teach, then that's a great moment to specifically look at your research and apply that for your dissertation. We additionally have some optional modules that we give you guys, so that we adapt these depending what's happening in the market, what's really relevant. So we always revise and update our content to make sure that it is cutting edge and you've got the latest modules to choose from. So the difference between the advertising one that I've just talked you through, and now we've got the marketing with digital. So there's some of these that you can see are quite similar. So we've already got the understanding consumer. So you'll be with the same students for that. Your marketing career. So again, you'll be with the same students for that. And the same with marketing research. So that one's different. So for you, you'll have marketing research and digital analysis. And then you can choose +1 option. So you could do digital economy, you can do the media relations, or you can do fundamentals of project management. So you've got flexibility in that unit. Year 1's exactly the same. So year 3, again, that could be your placement if you want to go and do a placement, or if you want to go into your third year straight away. And after your placement, you've got global marketing. We're in a digital era. You've got managing products and brands, which is the same as the other kids. And then you've got marketing with digital strategy and planning. And then you've got your applied project, which is going to be your dissertation. So I've seen we've just got a question that's come up. saying this is an open day for. Sorry, for some reason that just popped up in my chat. Thank you for answering that, whoever answered it. Okay, so all-round learning experience. So you guys get lectures and seminars. A lecture is when you'll be given a fruitful amount of information. You'll have guest lecturers. You know, we recently had the BBC in. We have people from WPP agencies, client side. We get brilliant lecturers in, guest lecturers in, as well as your module leaders. And then you have something called the seminar, which is where you go in and you put things into practice. So you learn and then you do. So you learn things in the lectures and then we start putting them into practice within the seminar. And that's where you do group activities. You get to work with your peers, and it's a really good interactive session. And often my students say they love the seminars, which is cool. So then we've got professional and digital skills. So you can do internships and placements. You've got mentoring schemes with personal tutors. So this is where you can you get allocated a personal tutor, so you can have one-on-one time with them to help you throughout your units and your semesters. You've got loads of extracurricular opportunities. You've got professional learning community events. You've got brilliant alumni events, loads of networking opportunities, and you've got really practical and applied help. So there's lots of great things that they offer at LSBU. So we've got in the business school, which is what you'd be under if you join us on the marketing course, you have a course director, so I'll be here to help you. You have a personal tutor who's directly allocated to you. You have module leaders who's going to be in charge of each of the units that I talked you through. You'll have lecturers and you'll have seminar tutors. You'll have the employability team, who are the ones that are going to get you the great jobs on your placements. And you've got extracurricular events and clubs, loads of activities to get involved in, all within the business school. Outside of the business school, you've got something called the central service, which is where we've got loads of great tools for you to use. We've got Moodle Resources, which is the online learning platform we have. You've got the library. The library is stunning. It's newly developed. There's a great coaster in there, beautiful books, and it's all modern and very sophisticated. It looks brilliant, and it's a lovely place to hang out in. You've got the student life team. You've got my account, which is for the student, my LSBU account, which has every piece of information you could possibly need on there. You've got the student union, which obviously will tell you about great nights. There's free pizzas sometimes, and there's just a really good vibe there. You've got the LSBU activity. So those of you who are sporty, there's brilliant sports and there's a gym. There's the careers hub that support you with the roles that you're looking for. And there's also the student enterprise team. So those of you that are quite entrepreneur mindset, then we have spaces and we offer support for those of you that want to set up your own companies. And there's money to be won there, and there's office space for you as well. So you've got a really brilliant amount of things that can support you whilst you're studying at LSBU. So how we rank. So we are marketing first for student satisfaction amongst London competitors, which is really great. We are marketing third out of 92 for student satisfaction in the UK. We have marketing of 91.7% overall satisfaction, the quality of teaching, which is really important to us. So we have to make sure that you guys have the best experience and you have brilliant practitioners and guest lecturers. So you've then got the 29th out of the UK for all undergraduate courses within the marketing realm from the Guardian League table. So we're doing pretty well, and we would love you to come and join. So to give you some sound bites, sorry, I know it's tricky. I can see some questions, I think, coming up. I'm going to keep going and then I'll come and answer the questions afterwards, if that's okay. So to give you some insight, so Sophia was one of our brilliant students at London South Bank. She's now Group Account Director within the marketing realm at MIQ Digital. I had a fantastic time studying for my marketing undergraduate degree at LSBU. The live case studies really prepare you for the real world and put LSBU students ahead and shoulders above others when you're starting out in the workplace. And so that was a lovely quote from her, and it is something that's really important to us. We work really hard to get you excellent live briefs. So these are the employers' insights. So you've heard from a student. So this is what employers have said. The marketing curriculum at LSBU fully prepares students for the workplace, and it's great to see that practical application is taught as well as academic knowledge. So that's the head of digital marketing and one of the employers that we work with. We've also got, having interviewed 6 LSBU marketing students, I can honestly say that they have had the skills needed by businesses employing an entry-level marketeer. I wish I had more than one job available. So that's great. Again, digital infrastructure partners, that was direct feedback that we had from the employers. Okay, so any questions? I'm going to open it up and go into the chat box so I can see what we've got here. Okay, hello, Monica. Monica says, I live in London this year, but I study online courses for an Italian school. So I will need to go to Italy sometimes to visit family and friends. So there is a document that we have up, which I can add in now, which talks about there's an attendance as well, but there's also the semesters and the modules. So I can have a look for those in a second. But you basically have your semester 1, semester 2, which will have the clear dates and deadlines of when you're meant to be in university. So that's really useful to check if you want to plan your holidays. Always check when the semesters are happening in advance, because we don't want you to miss out on any great lecturing or teaching or deadlines for assessments. So I can have a look. LSBU semester timetable. Here we go, key dates. I'm just going to drop this in as well so that you've got the key dates in there to check out. Cool. Does anybody else have any questions? Please don't be afraid to ask. So I was thinking sometimes students want to know what the qualifications are going to be, what are the requirements, the entry requirements. So I have lined up, and I was going to drop into the chat here. So I've got the entry requirements here for marketing with advertising and digital communication. Yes, are the BTEC qualifications. Cool. Well, it's all in here. So this one is for the marketing with digital advertising, and then this one is for, let's see, this one is for marketing with digital but without the advertising. I'm going to drop into the chat here. And then the other thing is, I thought you guys might want to know how to apply as well. So if you guys want to apply, sorry, that was the last link that I just sent in, was how to apply. Sorry, I will find the digital one as well for you. Overview, entry requirements, here we go. So it's the same entry requirements. So I'm going to drop in the entry requirements for digital. So you've got them in here. Yeah, cool. Are those links working? Can you click on them okay? You can tell me a thumbs up or a yes. I like seeing typing. Okay, cool. Excellent. Brilliant. That's cool. Okay, so I'm wondering if there was any burning questions that you might have. This is completely the forum to ask. So if you're wondering, what's the student experience like? What is it like studying at LSBU? Any concerns? Anything that you want to ask about the course? Do you have any initial thoughts? What do you think? Is this a course that you think you might like to join? Yes. Okay, cool. And this course is related to, yes, we've got public relations units within it. So absolutely. Marketing and public relations sit really well together. Public relations, obviously, we're talking about editorials, relationships with journalists. You need to know how to write press releases. And yes, we do have public relations as a key part of it. So that's a really good question. Thank you for asking. And if you're going for the job for a public relations job, and you've got the marketing degree from LSBU, they would absolutely consider you. That would be something that they would look for. So that's great. There was another question coming, but it stopped. Oh, here we go. Yes, I like the marketing and advertising. What's it like to be a student at LSBU? Well, my students, they work very hard, but they've got a really good sense of camaraderie. So when I'm teaching the students, quite often they'll sit together. They'll have, in our seminars, they'll work really well together. There's quite often in my first years, they've got a WhatsApp group where they message each other about, what's happening, maybe some of the things for the student union. And there's a really good life. And the thing what I would say about the location, so other universities that I've worked at, when the location is kind of far out, the students don't tend to do that much together, just because it's quite difficult to then do something. So, I've taught at universities that are kind of on the cusp of Docklands area and things that are quite windy and quite wet. And so, when the kids say, oh, let's go out and do something, they're kind of like, well, it's kind of far and it's going to cost them quite a lot of money to do something separately, because they've had to pay to get out of the far zones. They might be in zone 6 or zone 7 for the uni. We are zone 1, which means that it's so much easier to go out and have a really nice time. There's loads of things. We've got at LSBU, there's somewhere called Mercato, which is at the back of the uni, which is a brilliant foodie place. It's kind of like an outdoor street food, really fun, quirky area. There's the Ministry of Sound next door, which is a very famous nightclub. You've got the Thames. There's lots and lots of really cool things. You've got London Bridge Market if you're a foodie. Basically, whatever you like doing, it's a really great location to be in. So it means that you can hang out with your student friends and do lots of interesting things, which I think at other universities you wouldn't always get that opportunity. Any other questions? That was a really good question. Thank you for asking. Do you guys have any other questions? I can see you typing. What about the accommodation? Yes, we've got local halls. We've also got information. So if you stay on after we finish with me, there is going to be separate insights about the accommodation. So did you see when you log in, there's like a panel? Oh, brilliant. Somebody's already popped them in. Thank you, Laura. That's excellent. So yeah, if you would like to find out about virtual accommodation campus tour, there's a link that you can click. So that's a really great question. And thank you so much for asking it. And thank you, Laura, for adding it in. And so, yeah, do stick around so that you can find out the information firsthand. Excellent. Great. So if there isn't any other questions, then please, use this time. If you've got anything that you're thinking, gosh, I wish I'd asked that, please don't be afraid. Otherwise, I'm going to pop my email into the chat. So please feel free to email me and I'll be your course leader. So come and have a chat at lsbu.ac.uk. So yes, get in contact with me about anything that you may like to ask, specifically for the course. Great. Oh, brilliant. Thank you for reminding. So we've got another campus tour Tuesday the 12th. I highly recommend coming on our campus tour. If you come on our campus tour, you'll see the Fab Library. You'll see our brilliant business school building. You'll see how lovely it is. And it's just really good to get a feel of the university by visiting us on campus. So please come and say hi. One of my colleagues is going to be with you on the 12th from the marketing, and you'll get a bit of a taster. So I know it's sometimes tricky traveling in, but I really recommend it, because then when you land and you join the course, you're like, oh, I know where I can go get a cup of coffee and you know where you're going to go. We also do inductions. So when you start, we do a really sort of clear induction of where to go, where the building is, where the student union is, and I'll meet you all in the induction when you come and join us next year. Great. Thank you very much, everybody. I have finished a little bit early because I didn't get quite as many questions as I thought I might. Oh, here we go. What time is the tour? I don't know the answer to that. Hopefully it's on the link. Oh, there we go. 2 p.m. Thank you. Yes. But if you sign up, you will get the email information and details about what happens and where. Yes, and thank you very much for adding in the accommodation detail. That's brilliant. Thank you. So before we disappear, any last burning questions? Go for it. I saw people typing. Do we need to buy textbooks? No, we have the library. So the library has textbooks that you can take out from the library. So those are resources that we provide to you when you come and join. Can see another question. Are the classes easy to find at the university? Yes, in the sense that so we can do an orientation when you join, so you kind of figure out where the rooms are, but they're basically key buildings. There's Keyworth Building, and we have the one on Borough Road, but all of the classes on the timetable, it will say BR, which is the one on Borough Road, or Key W for the Keyworth Building. And we've got maps. So each of the buildings you go into, there are maps that you can see which building you're going to, and it's really logically done. Also, we have blue lanyards. So if you see anybody with a blue lanyard, it says staff. You just say, hey, where do I go for this room? And they should help you as well. But they do all have maps. So yeah, I find that it's pretty straightforward because you've kind of got the couple of key buildings that you go to, and then each of the rooms, like if it starts like 302, that's going to be on the 3rd floor, and you find them, so you don't feel too lost. And people are really nice. I remember when I first came to the university, I didn't know where to go and get a cup of coffee, and this really lovely student came and pointed to me and told me where to go and get a cup of coffee. The kids are really lovely there, and they're really helpful. So you won't feel out of place. Are the classes easy to find? Sorry, that was the one. Any other questions? Okay, well, it's been lovely to have you all here. Thank you for joining me today. Hopefully, I get to see you on the 12th. Otherwise, or my colleague will be with you on the 12th. But otherwise, hopefully, I get to come and see you on campus when we start for next semester. For the next academic year. Yeah.